Hey sisters, it's me, Amy. So I'm talking about The Chosen, and I said I would go through, make some videos about specific parts that I think are where they're talking against Torah. So season 2, episode, I think it's episode 3, the disciples are sitting around a campfire, and a lot goes on in the scene. And at one point, one of the disciples says that he tried pork. So I'm going to play that clip for you right here.
I tried pork once.
How?
Well, we were traveling and we were in a Gentile marketplace and I just grabbed a piece.
Really?
Oh, it was marvelous.
Okay, so you saw, there's so much to say about this, but I'm trying to keep this short. So obviously we all know what's wrong with this. This one is really straightforward and easy for me to point out to you, and I'm sure all of you noticed this, where he says when he was young, he ate pork. Now, right before this, they're talking about how when they were growing up, and now, you know, the law, the Torah, is just a bunch of rules, and it's hard being Jewish, it's hard following the rules, but some of them are like, oh, I like the rules. Nowhere once, not once, do they mention that they do the rules out of love for the Creator. But see, this is the mainstream Christian viewpoint, that people before Yeshua were doing the rules just sort of like as obedient robots out of duty. So that's the discussion. And at the end of that discussion, now three of them are going to tell little stories about when they broke parts of Torah. All three of these stories are what mainstream Christianity would call like the ritual parts of Torah or the ceremonial parts of Torah, not parts of the moral Torah. Like, these stories are about eating meat and cheese, obviously eating pork, and the other one is about Sabbath and how to keep the Sabbath. These are all things that the Christian church thinks that are done away with. None of these three these cute little stories about when they were kids and breaking Torah, are about what the church would call moral Torah or the moral law. You know, they're not about, oh yeah, once when I was a kid, you know, I accidentally saw some porn. You know, it's not that. I mean, Bible times, but you get what I'm saying. They specifically, I believe the writer specifically chose 3 things that they think is going to be done away with. So here's the first one, where this disciple says, I tried pork once when I was a kid. We were at a Gentile market and I snatched it and I ate it. And then he says, it was marvelous. So much wrong with this. I don't think that this ever could have happened. I mean, possibly could a child sin and be tempted to try pork? Of course that can happen. But I don't think that the disciples would ever sit around and talk about and giggle about it like it's so cute. And even if it did taste good, which, let's face it, pork tastes good, bacon tastes good, which I think is part of the reason it's off limits for us. It's just to be set apart. Can we control ourselves? So, but they glorify the fact that it's marvelous. And no one says, yeah, you shouldn't have done that. God was displeased with that. He didn't say, I repented of that. It's only, the only tone given for this is that it's cute and no big deal. And even funny, really. And the pork was marvelous. It's just so wrong. If that one part right there doesn't reveal to you that the makers of this are not Torah keepers, they don't understand, they don't know this, and I'm not faulting them, they don't know it. Their eyes have not been opened like our eyes have been opened. It's a work of the Spirit, but it's right there. It's very, very clear to me. So that was the first part where they make fun of God's Torah and make it quite obvious they're not on board with Torah. They're not Torah keepers, and there's nothing cute about breaking Torah. So 2 more to come. So watch the next 2 videos.